Hello, friend, and welcome to the Sleepy Meteorologist. Tonight, we're drifting into the rare and luminous world of ball lightning, a soft glowing sphere of mystery that has flickered through thunderstorms and folklore for centuries. Neither storm nor light, neither fully explained nor entirely understood. It floats somewhere between science and wonder. Some say it rolls down chimneys. Others say it hovers above fields. And yet, even with modern instruments and sharp minds, it remains a gentle enigma, appearing silently, then fading away like a dream before dawn. Maybe your day has been full, or perhaps it's been quietly uneventful. Either way, you've made it here, to a space of calm curiosity, a place where the weather slows down. And so can you. How's the sky looking where you are tonight? Any distant rumbles? Or maybe just the hush of nighttime air? If you enjoy these soft, slow journeys through the atmosphere, you're always welcome to like or subscribe. It helps other sleepy explorers find their way here too. But for now, there's no pressure, no plans, just peace. Let your body settle, your breath deepen. Let the clouds of the day drift away. Let's begin. There's something quietly haunting about a light that doesn't follow rules. A light that appears when the world is at its noisiest, during thunderstorms, when the clouds rumble and the sky flickers, yet moves with an unhurried grace, as if untouched by the chaos around it. This is the glow of ball lightning, a sphere of soft luminosity that floats into our understanding and just as easily drifts away again. Tonight, we begin with a gentle gaze into its mystery. Ball lightning isn't like the streaks and cracks we typically associate with lightning. It doesn't flash, it doesn't fork, it doesn't strike with a loud clap. Instead, it glows. A round, hovering orb of light, sometimes bright, sometimes dim, appears during or after a storm. About the size of a grapefruit or a small melon, it can drift horizontally, move upward, or even float against the wind. Some say it spins slowly, others say it pulses, like a sleeping heartbeat, and then, without warning, it disappears, leaving no mark, no heat, no sound, only the memory of its glow. Despite centuries of observation, meteorologists still puzzle over what exactly ball lightning is. It has been described as plasma, as a chemical reaction, as vaporized silicon, or as something else entirely. Many theories exist, and none are fully agreed upon. It's a reminder that even now, in an age of satellites and simulations, the sky still holds secrets. Witnesses have often found themselves mesmerized, not scared, but awestruck. The light doesn't demand attention with force. It invites it softly. Its glow is typically white, orange, or blue. Its motion is slow and curiously independent, as if guided by thought rather than physics. It may hover silently near trees, drift through open fields, or even appear indoors, passing through windows or doorways as though the barriers don't matter. There's something gentle about it, something dreamy, something that doesn't quite belong to this world, and yet isn't out of place when it appears. Perhaps that's why it lingers in people's memories long after it fades. In this chapter, we simply rest with its presence. We don't rush to define it or solve its mystery. Instead, we allow ourselves to drift beside it for a while, observing, wondering, and accepting the quiet fact that some things in nature glow without needing explanation. Let's think of ball lightning not as a threat, but as a whisper from the atmosphere, a soft anomaly, a weather-bound wonder that glimmers into being for just a moment, and then vanishes without harm. Maybe you've never seen it, Most haven't. It's rare, ephemeral, but the idea of it is enough to stir the imagination, enough to make us pause during the next thunderstorm and wonder if, just maybe, something unusual might float gently across the darkened sky. And so, as we settle into this story tonight, let the glow of ball lightning remain a gentle mystery. Not something we need to understand to appreciate, but something we can hold in the quiet part of our thoughts, like a candle flickering in the distance. The night is long, the storms are soft, and there's beauty in what remains uncertain. Ball lightning is not new. It may feel modern, wrapped in plasma theories and electromagnetic speculation. But the truth is, people have been speaking of glowing orbs in storms for centuries. Long before weather stations and lightning detectors, there were eyes looking skyward. And stories passed down from those who saw lights drift where no light should be. Tonight, we follow those quiet echoes. Imagine a storm on the open sea, hundreds of years ago. The sky is dark, the sails groan, thunder rolls in the distance, and there, above the deck, hovering just above a mast or railing, a bulgomolitis, glowing ball of light. The sailors freeze, unsure of what they're seeing. Some whisper of omens, others pray. And when the light eventually fades, they carry the tale into ports and taverns, where it's retold in voices half-whispered. That same story, with subtle differences, appears again and again across cultures. In Eastern Europe, it drifted through folklore. In Asia, it lit up stormy hillsides. In the American frontier, travelers recorded strange lights dancing above grasslands during summer storms. No matter the location, the details often match: a floating, glowing orb appearing during or just after a thunderstorm, and vanishing as softly as it came. Even in the 20th century, accounts continued. During World War II, pilots spoke of fiery spheres drifting near their aircraft. The term Foo Fighters was used at the time, not the band, but the unexplained aerial lights seen in combat zones. While not all of these were ball lightning, many resembled it closely. Spherical, silent, untethered. In 1963, the British physicist Eric Hand described seeing ball lightning from an airplane window. His observation added to the scientific curiosity, but also reinforced the difficulty of capturing such a fleeting thing. Even with eyes trained in physics, the light behaved more like a dream than a measurement. What ties these stories together isn't just the glowing ball, it's the tone in which they're told. Not frantic, not fearful, but quiet, reverent, as though those who saw it knew they had witnessed something rare and soft, something not entirely meant to stay. These ancient and modern sightings remind us that the atmosphere is filled with surprises. Weather doesn't always announce its wonders loudly. Sometimes it leaves subtle signs: glistening dew, a halo around the moon, a ball of light drifting through stormy air. And so, tonight, as you listen, let these stories gently surround you. Each one is a thread in the long tapestry of human observation, woven not in urgency, but in awe. The globe of light appears, someone notices, and then it fades. What remains is the telling, the memory, the wonder. Whether it was a sailor in the 1700s or a pilot in the 1950s, the feeling was the same: quiet amazement. And tonight, we rest beside that same feeling, carried through time like a lantern held in careful hands. The sky has always had secrets, and we, soft-eyed and curious, have always watched. Now, let's gently follow the path of a light that floats, not like a balloon or a bird, but like something entirely untethered. Ball lightning, in its quiet defiance of expectations, doesn't fall, flash, or follow the wind. It drifts, slowly, deliberately, as if it has its own inner compass. Tonight, imagine you're inside a cozy room on a rainy evening. The sky outside is restless, filled with soft thunder and flickering light. A calm hush has settled between the rumbles. And then, without warning, but also without drama, a sphere of pale glow appears near the far wall, about the size of a grapefruit. It hovers just above the floor, silent, untouched by the breeze from the open window. The room holds its breath as the light begins to move. It doesn't dart or rush. Instead, it glides, smooth and slow, tracing an invisible path. It floats past the furniture, weaving between objects with gentle awareness, like a soap bubble that refuses to pop. Maybe it turns slightly, glowing with a soft blue edge. Maybe it pauses in midair, then resumes its path again. And then, as suddenly as it came, it fades. Not with a bang, not with a crack, just gone. This image, though poetic, mirrors many real descriptions of ball lightning. Witnesses often speak of its strange independence, how it can float against the wind, or move with eerie calm, even as a storm rages nearby. Some have seen it hovering outdoors, above wet grass or quiet hills. Others have watched it enter through an open window, gliding across a kitchen or a hallway, always silent, always soft. Meteorologists have long puzzled over how this could be. Ordinary lightning follows electrical gradients. It forks through the atmosphere in jagged bolts, searching for the shortest path to the ground. But ball lightning doesn't seem to search at all. It simply moves, horizontally, vertically, sometimes in circles, sometimes in slow spirals. It doesn't respond to gravity the way other things do. And that's why it feels so dreamlike. It moves like thought, like something imagined, but somehow real. Some theories suggest it's guided by electromagnetic fields. Others propose that it's an optical illusion caused by plasma. But none of these ideas fully explain the grace of its movement, or the serenity it leaves in its wake. Even scientists who have studied it firsthand often describe it with an odd softness. It doesn't behave the way they expect. It doesn't fit neatly into boxes or charts. And maybe that's part of its charm. It resists categorization, just like a dream defies explanation after waking. So tonight, let your mind follow the gentle path of that floating light. Picture it moving slowly across a quiet room, or drifting silently through a misty field. Let go of trying to explain it. Instead, rest in the wonder of its behavior, its slow dance, its impossible stillness. Some lights blaze, some flicker, but ball lightning glows. And in that glow, logic takes a step back, and awe quietly steps in. Let's take a moment now to contrast this gentle sphere of light with the lightning we're more familiar with. The kind that forks across the sky in brilliant, blinding streaks. The kind that roars and cracks and vanishes in an instant. Ball lightning is not that kind. Where traditional lightning is sharp, ball lightning is round. Where a bolt is loud, ball lightning is quiet. And where a strike is over in a split second, the glowing sphere lingers, sometimes for many seconds, drifting with an almost meditative calm. Think of a lightning bolt as a punctuation mark, sudden, emphatic, full of energy. Now, think of ball lightning as a pause, an ellipsis, a soft continuation of the storm's sentence. Not an exclamation, but a hush. Some who have seen it say it looks like a floating soap bubble, except glowing from within. Others compare it to a lantern with no flame. It often emits no sound at all, no crackle, no hiss, just silence. and that silence makes its presence even more surreal. In terms of structure, ordinary lightning is a discharge, an explosive, high-voltage connection between cloud and ground, or between two regions in the sky. It is plasma, hot, bright, and deadly. But ball lightning, whatever it may be, seems far less intense. Its energy is diffused, spread out over space and time. It doesn't sear the air around it. It doesn't char the earth. It simply floats, glows, and fades. Some theories suggest that it too is a kind of plasma, perhaps formed under special atmospheric conditions where humidity, temperature, and electrical charge come together just right. Others think it might involve chemical reactions triggered by a lightning strike, forming a stable sphere of burning gases. And yet, there are accounts where no bolt preceded the sphere at all, just a glowing orb appearing quietly and disappearing the same way. The softness of ball lightning's appearance is part of what makes it so mysterious. If it screamed through the sky like a firework, we'd be quicker to understand it. But it doesn't. It whispers, it waits, and that subtlety places it in a different category entirely, not just of science, but of sensation. Ball lightning invites observation without urgency. It's not dangerous in its typical form. It doesn't shock or strike. It drifts, it illuminates gently, and in doing so, it offers a kind of natural meditation, a light that asks us not to react, but to notice, not to analyze, but to wonder. So tonight, we can rest in the contrast, the bolt and the bubble, the flash and the float, two forms of lightning, one loud and immediate, the other soft and lingering. And in the quiet between storms, it's the glow of the bubble that stays with us. Not all lights are the same color. Some burn with heat, others with mood. And when it comes to ball lightning, the colors seem to emerge not just from science, but from a kind of quiet magic. Tonight, let's drift through that soft spectrum. Ball lightning, though often imagined as a glowing white orb, is described in many hues. Witnesses speak of glowing blues and pale oranges, of yellow flickers, and even gentle shades of violet or red. Some orbs pulse, shifting slightly in color as they move. Others seem to hold a single tone, dim, steady, and quietly mesmerizing. Imagine it now. A ball the size of a plum, floating near a porch in the middle of a summer thunderstorm. It glows with a cool blue light, like the sky just after dusk. It hovers above the wet grass, unbothered by the breeze, casting a faint reflection in a puddle below. Or perhaps it's orange instead, like the last ember of a fire, drifting just above the ground, warming the darkness without heat. The science of these colors is not fully settled. Some researchers suggest that the different hues may arise from the temperature of the plasma, if ball lightning is indeed a kind of plasma at all. Hotter temperatures might glow blue or white, while cooler or chemically different reactions might produce yellows, reds, or even purples. Others believe the colors might reflect specific particles in the air, or interactions with nearby materials, subtly tinting the light. But in truth, we don't yet know for certain. Ball lightning is so elusive, so rare, that capturing its full spectrum remains a quiet challenge for researchers. There are no large datasets, no repeatable lab results, no perfect footage, only stories, observations, glimpses. And yet, these glimpses feel meaningful, because color is more than a wavelength. It's a mood, a tone, a sensation. A deep red orb might feel warm, grounded, elemental. A pale violet sphere might feel ethereal, otherworldly, A yellow light, drifting gently through mist, might bring to mind candle flames or the soft hum of fireflies. Each hue tells its own story, even if only for a few seconds. Some orbs are said to shift as they move, beginning with a soft orange glow, then fading into pale blue before disappearing entirely. Others appear colourless, then flicker briefly in green, as if reacting to something unseen. It's this shifting quality that adds to the dreamlike nature of the phenomenon, always moving, always mysterious, never quite still. Tonight, we don't need to solve the palette. We simply admire it. Like watching the aurora dance or sunlight refract through ice crystals, we allow the colours of ball lightning to wash over us gently, not to understand, but to feel, to rest beside. So as you drift deeper into sleep, let your mind's eye soften into these glowing tones. A sphere of lavender light hovering in a quiet field, a copper-hued orb slowly floating down a hallway, a shimmer of teal flickering briefly in the fog. All colours, all moments, all gently impossible. The storm may bring flashes and thunder, but tucked within it, somewhere between bolt and silence, glows a light of every colour, a rainbow without form, a spectrum wrapped into a sphere. And tonight, we let it drift through our thoughts, glowing softly, fading slowly, like a gentle nightlight in the sky. Most of the time, we imagine weather as something outside, rain tapping on the roof, thunder rolling in the distance, lightning dancing across distant clouds. But ball lightning sometimes crosses that boundary. Sometimes it finds its way inside. Tonight, we gently explore this curious and cozy phenomenon when the storm's strange light steps softly indoors. Imagine this: a quiet evening during a summer rain. The windows are closed, the fire is low, and the house is wrapped in the hush that follows a distant thunderclap. Then, without warning, a soft glow appears near the hearth, floating, gentle, silent, a small orb of light, perhaps orange, perhaps blue, drifting slowly across the room. It's not a dream, it's not a lamp. It moves with its own intent, slipping through still air as if it had always belonged. And then, just as quietly as it arrived, it vanishes. No smoke, no sound, just gone. Such sightings, though rare, have been recorded again and again. People speak of ball lightning entering homes through chimneys, keyholes, or open windows. Some even report it drifting through closed glass, as if solidity were just a suggestion. The light enters, explores, then disappears, leaving the room exactly as it was, save for the lingering wonder in the air. How can this be? That's a question science still wrestles with. Some suggest that a lightning strike near a building might trigger a localized reaction, generating ball lightning inside the structure. Others believe electromagnetic fields may guide the phenomenon through small openings, and a few even speculate that the light isn't traveling through the walls at all, but forming spontaneously inside, sparked by invisible conditions like electric gradients, temperature shifts, or traces of certain elements in the air. Still, there is no single answer, no fixed path, no firm rule, only patterns, glimpses, and gentle guesses. What remains most remarkable is the intimacy of these indoor encounters. Outdoors, ball lightning feels like a marvel, but indoors, it becomes personal. The light shares your space. It floats across a room where books are stacked and blankets are folded. It glides through kitchens, living rooms, bedrooms, spaces filled with familiarity. And yet, it never harms, never startles. It enters as softly as a thought, and leaves as quietly as a sigh. In folklore, These sightings often blurred the line between science and spirit. People saw them as omens, visitors, or protectors. Others, more modern, describe them with childlike wonder, as if the storm had reached in just to say hello. And perhaps that's the feeling we carry tonight. Not fear, not confusion, but gentle curiosity that something so rare could enter so calmly and leave no trace but awe. So as you nestle into your own space this evening, with walls to shelter you and pillows to hold you, imagine what it might feel like to see a soft light drift quietly through your room, not frightening, not invasive, just visiting, just passing through, a guest of the storm, a glow from the sky, resting for a moment by your hearth, and then gone. Most lightning arrives in a blink, a single burst of brightness that tears across the sky, illuminates everything for a fraction of a second, then vanishes without a trace, its presence known only by the echoing thunder left behind. But ball lightning doesn't move like that. It lingers. Where a traditional bolt lasts just milliseconds, ball lightning can remain suspended in space for several seconds, sometimes as long as 10 or 20. Long enough to notice, long enough to wonder, long enough to remember. And that, in many ways, is part of what makes it so haunting. Tonight, we settle into the softness of that time. We slow down. We linger, too. Imagine seeing a small orb of glowing light, round, maybe pale orange or bluish white, floating gently just above a quiet country road during a warm summer storm. The rain is easing, the sky is awash of fading grey, and this light appears, drifting slowly, glowing gently. It hovers for a moment, then another, then another. You count the seconds in your head. 1, 2, 3, still there, still glowing. In a world where most atmospheric phenomena flash and vanish, the duration of ball lightning feels almost supernatural. But it's not dramatic, it's not intense, it's simply prolonged and peaceful. This temporal quality, this slow unfolding, makes it different, not just in motion, but in memory. Because when something stays, even briefly, it leaves a deeper mark. Ball lightning doesn't shout for attention, but its gentle persistence makes it unforgettable. Some observers report watching the orbs for up to 30 seconds. Others say they faded away after just 5. Either way, even a few seconds is an eternity compared to a lightning flash. And in those suspended moments, something happens. Time stretches, thoughts slow, the mind shifts from reaction to reflection. It's like watching a candle flicker in the dark, steady, entrancing, subtle. Except the candle is floating in mid-air, inexplicable, and softly glowing where no flame should be. The reason ball lightning can last so long is still unclear. Scientists suggest that if it's a form of plasma, a highly energized state of matter, it may be stabilized by magnetic or electric fields. Others believe it could be sustained by chemical reactions in the atmosphere, giving it just enough energy to persist before fading. But no one knows for sure. There have even been reports of ball lightning moving slowly across airplane cabins or hovering outdoors for so long that people could walk toward it, observe it, and still not see it disappear. These rare encounters are spoken of with reverence, not because of fear, but because of how long the moment lasted. It's like the phenomenon lives partly in the air and partly in the mind. Even after it's gone, the memory of it floats with you. You recall the stillness, the light, the strange serenity of something that had no reason to be there, and no need to rush away. So tonight, as we breathe gently in and out, we give space to slowness. We imagine the light that doesn't flash, but waits, a reminder that not all wonders are hurried. Some arrive and stay just long enough to be remembered forever. A light that lingers, a moment that glows, and a hush that feels timeless. Ball lightning is one of those rare natural wonders that continues to elude certainty. It floats at the edge of explanation, just out of reach, like a word you almost remember, or a dream that fades when you try to describe it. Science, with all its tools and models, has not yet captured it fully. And so, tonight, we walk gently through the possibilities, not in search of answers, but to appreciate the quiet effort to understand, to listen as science listens for the whisper of truth. One of the most widely discussed theories is that ball lightning is made of plasma, a state of matter where gas becomes so energized that its atoms break apart into ions and electrons. Plasma exists in lightning bolts, the sun, even neon lights. If ball lightning is plasma, it would need to somehow maintain its shape without dissipating, which is difficult to explain. Some suggest it may be held together by magnetic fields or by the structure of the atmosphere itself. Another theory speaks of microwave bubbles, a model proposed in the early 2000s. In this idea, a lightning strike creates an intense burst of microwave energy, which becomes trapped in a spherical cavity of air. The microwaves bounce around inside this bubble, sustaining a glowing plasma core for several seconds. It's a compelling thought, but one that's difficult to test in real-world conditions. Still, others imagine oxidized nanoparticles, tiny clusters of particles that ignite and release light slowly. In this model, a lightning strike vaporizes materials from the ground, like silicon or metals, which then recondense into glowing clusters. These clusters might float, burning gently, creating a luminous orb that slowly cools and vanishes. There are also more speculative ideas: chemical loops, electrical vortex rings, or even quantum anomalies. Each one offers a piece of the puzzle, but none fit perfectly. Ball lightning continues to shimmer just outside the spotlight of full understanding. And perhaps that's okay, because not everything has to be solved to be beautiful. Some things can be explored without being pinned down. Some mysteries are best approached slowly, softly, like tiptoeing into a mist, knowing the view may stay blurred, and being at peace with that. Scientists are still listening, still watching the skies, still trying to recreate the phenomenon in laboratories. But ball lightning, in its gentle elusiveness, seems to resist confinement. It prefers to appear on its own terms, briefly, beautifully. And so tonight, we too listen, not for thunder, but for wonder. We let the theories float around us like soft ideas in the air. Plasma, bubbles, dust, light, all trying to explain a thing that doesn't ask to be explained. Only witnessed, only remembered, only softly told. There's something captivating about how ball lightning always seems to arrive alongside storms, yet never in the same way twice. It's as if it waits for the right kind of atmosphere, the right moment of tension between sky and earth, and then, quietly, it appears. Tonight, we explore that intersection, where charged clouds meet mystery, and where the storm, already alive with light and sound, makes room for a softer presence. Most reports of ball lightning begin with a thunderstorm, sometimes just after a lightning strike, sometimes during heavy rain, other times during the hush that follows a loud crack in the sky. But always, there is a kind of charged stillness in the air, a shimmer in the atmosphere, as if something invisible has shifted, What conditions allow this glowing orb to form? Scientists believe several ingredients might be involved: high humidity, charged particles in the air, rapid changes in pressure or temperature. When lightning strikes, it doesn't just light up the sky, it reshapes the air around it. The heat of a bolt can raise temperatures to tens of thousands of degrees in a fraction of a second, expanding the air violently, sending shockwaves rippling outward. In that moment, something subtle may happen. Some theories suggest that the electrical energy released during a strike may briefly create a pocket of strange stability, a balance between pressure, heat, and charge that allows ball lightning to form. Others imagine that atmospheric gases interact with trace elements in the soil or air, creating a slow-burning reaction that floats, glows, and fades. But here's the curious part. Even in similar storms, ball lightning doesn't always show up. You can have thunder, rain, static electricity, and lightning, and never see even a flicker. Then, one night, with no special sign, it appears. This unpredictability is part of the enchantment. Ball lightning doesn't follow a formula. It doesn't announce its arrival. It simply emerges in the quiet margins of chaos. Some researchers have tried to map out patterns, looking for common locations, weather conditions, altitudes, but there's no clear rule. It has appeared during clear air lightning, during winter storms, during tropical downpours. It has been seen above mountains, in open fields, and even out at sea. What connects all these moments may not be the storm itself, but the delicate balance it creates. That invisible tension between elements. A kind of atmospheric breath held in just long enough for the improbable to occur. And perhaps when lightning has already danced across the clouds, when the air is rich with potential and the ground is humming softly beneath the rain, that's when ball lightning feels most at home. So tonight, as you rest beneath imagined skies, picture that threshold, the moment when a storm is more than wind and water, when it becomes a stage for a strange and gentle light. Not every storm holds a mystery, but some quietly do. Now let's imagine a gentler setting. The storm is no longer violent. The thunder has softened to a distant murmur. Raindrops are falling slowly, steadily, painting the world with a quiet shimmer. And just above the wet earth, a light appears. Ball lightning doesn't need a grand entrance. Often, it simply glides into being, as if the rain itself gave birth to it. A glowing orb, perhaps yellow or soft orange, drifts a few inches above the ground. It moves slowly, gracefully, trailing no smoke, leaving no mark. The puddles beneath it reflect its glow. The drops falling through the air pass right through it, as if it were more thought than substance. Trees sway gently in the background. The world holds its breath. Witnesses have described this moment in many ways. Some say it looked like a lantern skimming the ground. Others say it hovered like a will-o'-the-wisp, its light dulled slightly by the moisture in the air. But all agree it was silent, still, peaceful. There is something deeply serene about this scene. Rain has a way of calming the world. It softens sounds, blurs edges, covers everything with a gentle hush. And within that hush, ball lightning appears like a secret. Scientists wonder how it maintains its structure in the rain. After all, moisture usually disrupts electricity, but ball lightning doesn't behave like ordinary sparks or flames. Its energy seems to remain intact, protected somehow. One idea is that the moisture in the air may even help to stabilize it, keeping its edges cool, allowing it to float just a little longer. Others have proposed that the rain's presence may encourage the formation in the first place, perhaps by increasing the conductivity of the air or by amplifying the effects of nearby lightning strikes. Whatever the cause, the result is unforgettable. A luminous orb gliding across soaked grass, unfazed by the falling sky. Imagine it now, the gentle patter of raindrops all around, the soft mist rising from the ground, the smell of wet earth and leaves, and in the midst of it, a floating light, slowly moving through the rain, like a thought drifting across the surface of a dream. No sound, no rush, only the quiet companionship of the weather, and a glow that feels both earthly and otherworldly. Ball lightning is strange in every setting, but when it appears in the rain, it feels somehow softer, more delicate, as if it borrowed the gentleness of the storm and wrapped itself in it for just a moment. And when it fades into mist, into memory, it leaves behind not fear, but a kind of calm wonder, like a candle that never needed a flame, a drop of light in the rain. It's easy to imagine that seeing a glowing orb during a thunderstorm would cause fear. Lightning is usually loud, sudden, bright, and overwhelming. So, when something unusual appears, something that floats, that glows, that moves against expectation, it would make sense for the heart to race, for nerves to rise. But in story after story, that's not what happens. People who've encountered ball lightning don't often describe fear. They describe calm. Tonight, we settle into those quiet accounts, not the explosive ones, not the stories filled with confusion or drama, but the ones told in hushed tones where the light came, and for a few brief moments, the world softened. One such account comes from a small farmhouse many years ago. A woman was sitting by the window, watching the rain. The thunder had quieted. The sky still flickered now and then, and the wind rattled the old glass panes. Then she noticed something drifting across the room, not inside, but outside, just above the porch. A ball of light, orange gold, round, about the size of a small melon. It hovered for several seconds, floating silently. She didn't move. She didn't feel afraid, just curious. She said it felt as though the storm had paused and was watching her back. That story is echoed in many other forms. Pilots seeing a sphere pass silently near the wing of an aircraft. Children seeing one roll slowly across a damp sidewalk. Scientists witnessing it float across a lab or a field. And always, that same detail, the absence of panic. Instead, there's a stillness, a suspension. One observer described it as a moment held in amber. Another said it was like watching a thought take form. Even when the phenomenon occurred indoors, gliding gently through kitchens, barns, or hallways, people often reported awe rather than alarm. They stood and watched. They blinked, held their breath, whispered to those nearby. But they rarely ran, rarely screamed. There was no sense of danger, only deep, strange peace. Perhaps it's the way ball lightning moves, slow, graceful, never erratic. Perhaps it's the silence, or the soft colours. Or maybe it's something deeper, a quiet recognition that what they're witnessing doesn't come from fear, that it is not here to disrupt. Some scientists suggest that the calm may be psychological, that rare events can trigger a freeze response. But these reports don't sound like fear frozen. They sound like reverence, like watching a shooting star up close, like seeing something that doesn't belong, yet somehow fits. And so, as we drift through these gentle recollections, We feel that stillness too, that sense of being near something rare, and knowing you don't need to move or speak, just to be. Ball lightning, for all its strangeness, doesn't ask for understanding, only witnessing, and when it fades, it leaves behind not questions, but quiet, a softness in the air, a stillness in the soul. There are many kinds of quiet in this world. The hush of snowfall, the stillness before dawn, the silence inside a library. But the quiet that follows ball lightning is different. It's not just the absence of noise, it's the presence of peace. Ball lightning rarely makes a sound. It doesn't crack like a bolt, or hiss like steam. It doesn't rumble, pop, or whir. Most who see it describe it as completely silent, a floating light that drifts through the air with no more noise than a thought. Tonight, we drift with it. Imagine you're standing on a porch after a rainstorm. The air is thick with the smell of wet soil and leaves. The wind has settled into a lazy sway. Everything is still damp and shining. And then, a glow. You notice it gently, like a glimmer at the edge of your vision, a sphere of soft light moving just above the ground. It floats past a puddle, past the edge of the porch. Slowly, curiously, it turns slightly, as if spinning. Its surface looks fluid, shimmering, but not flickering, like molten glass, like moonlight in motion, and it makes no sound. None. You lean in, expecting something. A faint hum, perhaps, a whisper of heat, but there is only silence, the kind of silence that feels full, not empty. This absence of sound adds to its mystery. In science, energy usually comes with noise, explosions, vibrations, pressure waves. Yet ball lightning seems to defy that expectation. Whatever it is, plasma, gas, electromagnetic bubble, it behaves in a way that doesn't disturb the air around it. It moves with the gentleness of mist, the quiet of fog. Some have described a faint crackle just before it appears, or a small pop when it disappears. But during its slow journey, it is silent. That silence deepens the awe. It invites the mind to settle. There is no threat in it, no rush, no signal to flee, only the urge to stay still, to watch, to breathe slowly. And in that stillness, something special happens. You begin to notice the small things, the rhythm of your breath, the pattern of raindrops dripping from a branch, the warmth of your own curiosity. The soundlessness becomes a kind of music, a lullaby with no notes, just presence. Scientists are still puzzled by this acoustic absence. Some say the energy levels are too low to create vibration. Others believe the structure of the light may dampen sound before it forms. But perhaps the truth is simpler. It's just not meant to be loud. Some phenomena announce themselves. Others arrive as whispers. Ball lightning whispers. So tonight, we listen to that quiet. We imagine a glowing orb, spinning slowly in still air. We see it glide across wet ground, leaving no ripple, no trace, just silence. And in that silence, we rest, because some of the most beautiful things in the world don't need to make a sound. They simply need to be seen and softly remembered. High above the world, where clouds stretch like endless fields of cotton, and storms take on their full, unfiltered majesty. Some of the most extraordinary sightings of ball lightning have occurred, not from the ground, but from the sky. Not in fields or forests, but from the cockpits of aircraft suspended in weather's vast cathedral. Tonight, we'll drift gently through the stories told by pilots, those quiet observers of the upper atmosphere, who've seen glowing orbs of light dance silently above the clouds. These reports come from both military and commercial aviators. Trained professionals, accustomed to reading instruments, trusting their senses, and staying calm in the face of nature's fiercest moods. And yet, when they speak of ball lightning, their words slow down, their tone softens. There's a hush that enters the telling. One of the earliest well-documented reports comes from the mid-20th century. A pilot flying through a thunderstorm noticed a small glowing sphere suddenly appear inside the cockpit. It hovered in mid-air for several seconds, silent, calm, as if observing rather than intruding. Then, without a sound, it drifted toward the windshield and passed through it. Not cracked, not broken, just through. Another pilot described ball lightning rolling down the length of the wing, as if guided by an invisible thread. The plane was flying at cruising altitude, with lightning crackling across the clouds outside, and the orb glided silently along the metal skin of the aircraft. No damage, no turbulence, just a strange, glowing presence that stayed for a few moments, then vanished into the air. These encounters, though rare, have been repeated with enough consistency to draw scientific interest. The high-voltage environments surrounding aircraft during storms, combined with the plane's conductive surfaces and the charged atmosphere, might create unique conditions where ball lightning can form, or at least become visible. Some researchers propose that strong electromagnetic fields, generated during or after a nearby lightning strike, may briefly stabilize pockets of ionized air. Others believe that microwave radiation bouncing within or around the fuselage could form glowing plasma spheres. But even these explanations remain gentle theories, tentative, like the phenomenon itself. What's most striking about these in-flight encounters is the contrast. Outside, lightning crashes, clouds boil, the world moves fast. But inside the cockpit, during these moments, time seems to slow. The orb does not rush. It floats, it glows, it makes no sound. And the pilots, those stewards of the sky, simply watch. Some have described a sense of calm, of being in the presence of something rare but not threatening. Others felt as though they were witnessing a form of weather that was personal, closer than the storm, quieter than the wind, more intimate than the horizon. So tonight, let's imagine flying far above the earth, surrounded by cloud and light. The engines hum softly, the windows rattle gently, and in that pressurized stillness, a sphere of light appears, floating calmly, no heat, no harm, just a slow-moving guest from the storm beyond. And as it fades, through the windshield or into the wall, it leaves behind no trail, only wonder. There is a moment after a lightning bolt when the world seems to pause. The thunder has just rolled through. The flash has faded. And for a few seconds, everything holds its breath. The air is charged. The earth is still. The storm is shifting into silence. And in that soft space, something else may appear. Ball. Lightning has often been observed in the moments following a strike, not during the chaos, but just after. When the sky begins to quiet and the light that was sharp becomes something round, something gentle. Tonight, we linger in that moment, in the hush that follows the roar. Many accounts begin with a bright bolt of traditional lightning, a flash that splits the clouds, a sound that shakes the air. And then, as if echoing the energy left behind, a sphere of light appears. It may float just above the ground, or drift out from a tree that was struck. It may hover at a distance, or draw quietly near. Observers often describe a strange stillness in the air at this point, as if the atmosphere is briefly suspended between two states. The bolt has come and gone, but its presence hasn't left. The sky hums with potential, and in that invisible space, something glows. It may last a few seconds. It may drift along a fence line, or above a puddle, or even through a window into a quiet room. Its motion is slow, its color is soft, and though it shares its name with lightning, its mood is entirely different. Where lightning is a shout, ball lightning is a whisper. Scientists believe that the energy released during a strike may, under certain conditions, ignite a rare reaction, perhaps ionizing the air, or releasing compounds from the soil, or generating pockets of plasma that briefly become self-contained. Others think it's a resonance effect, a sudden shaping of energy that forms a temporary sphere. But no matter the mechanism, it is this timing, the aftermath, that intrigues most, because it feels like a reply, as if nature, having spoken loudly, now speaks softly. Witnesses often reflect on the quiet contrast. They expected the bolt, they expected the thunder, but they didn't expect the glow that followed. And yet, it didn't feel wrong. It felt peaceful. Strange? Yes, but gentle. The light didn't burn or break. It simply existed. And then it was gone. So, tonight, we pause in that quiet pocket of the storm. After the flash, after the sound. We listen to the charged air. We notice the shimmer in the atmosphere. And we imagine the light that floats through, glowing softly like a candle carried by the wind. A gift from the storm, a breath held a little longer, a light that waits and then slowly fades. Some visitors stay only briefly. They arrive quietly, linger for a moment, and then vanish, leaving behind nothing but a feeling, a trace, a memory so gentle you almost wonder if it happened at all. Ball lightning is one of those visitors. It appears without warning and disappears just as easily. No trail, no scar, just a slow dissolve into the hush of the atmosphere. Tonight, we explore its quiet farewell. Witnesses often speak of how ball lightning ends, not with an explosion, not with a rush, but with a fading, a graceful departure. One moment it's there, hovering in the air, glowing softly. The next, it's gone. No wind carries it away. No shadow marks its absence. It simply stops being, like a light switch turned off in the sky. Some say it shrinks slowly, becoming smaller and dimmer until it disappears altogether. Others describe it as blinking out, present one moment, then vanished the next. A few rare reports mention a faint pop or soft hiss, but most encounters end in silence. A visual dream that lifts quietly, like morning fog retreating from the sun. And in that quiet vanishing, there's something almost poetic. It's not just that ball lightning disappears, it's how it disappears. Unapologetically, gently, like a thought that drifts away before it fully forms. Or like a dream you're sure you had, but can't quite describe. This ephemeral nature is one of the reasons it remains so mysterious. It gives no chance for measurement, no second look, no final frame. The observer is left holding the experience in memory alone, unable to rewind or analyze, only to recall. Perhaps this is why it stays with people so vividly. The way dreams linger, not because they were long, but because they ended suddenly, mysteriously, mid-sentence. Ball lightning has that same dreamlike rhythm, a beginning, a middle, and then gone. Some have tried to capture the exact moment of disappearance. Cameras have been set up during storms, equipment calibrated to detect changes in light, temperature, or electromagnetic fields. But more often than not, the vanishing is too quick, too quiet, too subtle. The data slips through the cracks. In stories told by pilots, farmers, scientists, and ordinary observers, the pattern holds. Ball lightning comes when it chooses, and it leaves the same way, without disruption, without damage, without explanation. It is the phantom of the thunderstorm, a presence wrapped in silence, a shimmer that fades without goodbye. And tonight, as we rest within this story, we let that softness carry us too. The idea that not everything must be explained to be meaningful. That some things appear, brighten the world for just a moment, and then drift away. We do not chase them. We remember them. We rest in the glow they leave behind. In the world of science, most questions come with tools, with experiments, with data, with laboratories ready to test and repeat. But ball lightning resists all of that. It refuses to appear on command. It leaves no sample behind. It cannot be summoned, boxed, or studied at will. It is a puzzle, a gentle one, a mystery wrapped in atmosphere. Tonight, we explore why this strange light remains just beyond the reach of certainty. For centuries, scientists have tried to understand it. Some have caught glimpses. Others have recorded data during moments of unusual weather. But unlike more predictable weather events, like cloud formation or pressure systems, ball lightning does not follow a schedule. It appears rarely, without warning, and often when conditions are dangerous or difficult to measure. Imagine trying to study something that only appears in the middle of a thunderstorm for a few seconds and then vanishes forever. There are no reliable triggers, no consistent behavior, only fleeting visits. Laboratories have attempted to recreate ball lightning using high-voltage discharges, vaporized metals, microwave pulses, and plasma chambers. Some experiments have produced glowing spheres, briefly, but these imitations don't always match the real reports. The duration is too short, the movement too rigid, the environment too controlled. What ball lightning does in the wild remains slightly out of reach. Even capturing it on video is rare. Most sightings occur unexpectedly, often in rural areas or through cockpit windows, far from cameras or sensors. When it does appear, it gives no warning, no time to focus, no way to frame the shot. This elusiveness has led some to question whether it exists at all. But the consistency of witness accounts across centuries, cultures, and professions speaks softly to its reality. Too many have seen it. Too many describe the same thing: floating, glowing, silent, spherical. And so, ball lightning becomes something rare in science, a phenomenon that's accepted, yet not fully understood. Not yet. But perhaps that's part of its charm. Its resistance to study gives it a kind of grace. It is not ours to control, not ours to repeat. It exists somewhere between the measurable and the magical. A soft footnote in meteorological textbooks. A curiosity that inspires without needing to be captured. And in that, there is a kind of peace, because not everything in nature is meant to be solved immediately. Some things ask us to slow down, to watch, to wonder. Ball lightning is one such thing, a soft puzzle for science, a whisper the sky has yet to explain. And perhaps, for now, that's enough. Fire usually leaves something behind, a mark, a scar, a line drawn across a surface to say, "I was here." It blackens wood, curls paper, softens metal. We know fire by its traces, but ball lightning doesn't always follow that rule. Sometimes it leaves behind charred floorboards, melted wires, burnt corners on fabric or furniture, And sometimes it leaves nothing at all. Not a scorch, not a scent, only the memory of light floating gently through the air. Tonight, we explore that contrast, the strange split between presence and absence, between energy and silence. Many reports describe ball lightning appearing indoors, hovering near walls, drifting through rooms. In some of these stories, observers found small signs after the orb vanished. A scorch mark on a wooden floor, a burn on the edge of a curtain. One man described a circular stain on the tile, where the orb had paused for several seconds. Another recalled the faint smell of ozone, like after a summer storm, lingering in the air. These stories suggest that ball lightning carries energy, that, even though it appears soft and slow, it can generate enough heat to leave behind a physical signature, a quiet reminder that it was real. And yet, other encounters tell a different tale. There are just as many accounts where the light left no trace. A glowing orb passed through a hallway, floated over furniture, hovered near a person, and when it vanished, nothing had changed. The floor was untouched, the walls were cool, the air was still. It was as if the light had never been there at all. How can both be true? Scientists have long wondered if there are different types of ball lightning, some with higher energy, some with less. Perhaps certain environmental conditions cause the orb to emit heat, while others stabilize it in a cooler state. Theories vary. Plasma formations might explain the burns, while purely electromagnetic or optical phenomena could explain the traceless sightings. Another idea is that the sphere's internal structure determines its effect. A densely packed orb might radiate more energy, while a loosely formed one might dissipate before leaving any mark. But all of these explanations remain, for now, gentle guesses. The truth floats just out of reach, and so we're left with the poetry of contrast. A fire that sometimes burns and sometimes doesn't. A light that sometimes touches the world and sometimes merely passes through. There's something beautifully mysterious about that. It reminds us that not all things in nature are fixed. Not every cause leads to the same effect, and not every visitor leaves footprints. Ball lightning teaches us to look closely, but not to expect certainty, to witness without needing to measure, to accept that sometimes the most powerful lights leave only stillness behind, a fire that doesn't flame, a glow that doesn't destroy, a presence that vanishes without ash. Among the many stories of ball lightning drifting through homes and fields, one account stands apart, not because it's dramatic, but because of its calm strangeness. It happened inside a moving train, a quiet orb, in motion, within motion. Tonight, we revisit this tale, gently, slowly, like flipping through the faded pages of an old travel journal. The year was 1954. A passenger train was making its way through the countryside during a thunderstorm. Rain tapped against the windows. The clouds outside were dark, roiling with soft flickers of lightning. Inside, the passengers sat quietly, some reading, some dozing, some gazing through the fogged glass at the storm. And then it appeared, a sphere of light, glowing, round, silent, entered the train car, not through the door, not through a window. It simply appeared near one end of the compartment, floating just above the aisle floor. Witnesses described it as the size of a grapefruit, softly lit with a pale blue hue. It moved slowly, very slowly, down the aisle, not swaying, not flickering, just gliding, as if the train's motion meant nothing to it. People stared, no one moved. The orb passed just inches from knees and elbows, drifting between rows of seats. One passenger reported feeling a faint warmth as it passed, but nothing alarming. There was no sound, no spark, just the quiet hum of the train and this thing, glowing softly as it made its way forward. And then, near the opposite end of the compartment, it vanished. No bang, no burst, no flash, just gone. What makes this account so curious is its setting. A metal box speeding through the storm, high electrical potential, enclosed air, moving magnetic fields. It seems like an unlikely place for something so delicate and slow. And yet, maybe it was perfect. Some scientists believe that the train's electrical environment could have provided the right conditions. A buildup of charge, a path of least resistance, or even a temporary bubble of electromagnetic stability. Others wonder if the metal walls helped contain or reflect microwave energy, briefly sustaining the orb. But even with these theories, the event remains mysterious. It doesn't follow conventional rules. It doesn't repeat itself. It just happened. Like so many sightings of ball lightning, it defies expectation by doing something quietly impossible. It enters where it shouldn't, moves as if unbound by the physical laws we expect, and then disappears as softly as a sigh. Tonight, we let this story drift through our minds like the orb itself, slow, glowing, calm, a light inside a moving train, a presence that traveled quietly through storm and steel, and then left behind nothing but stillness and the memory of something gently unexplained. In today's world, where nearly everyone carries a camera in their pocket, moments of mystery are often captured with a flicker of glass and light. We photograph sunsets, film storms, and freeze-frame lightning in exquisite detail. But ball lightning seems to resist that lens. Despite centuries of sightings and decades of technological advancement, true footage of ball lightning remains elusive, fleeting, questioned. Tonight, we explore those rare recordings, gently, thoughtfully, and the soft skepticism that surrounds them. A handful of videos exist that claim to show ball lightning. One of the most widely cited came from China in 2012 during a thunderstorm observed by researchers. In the video, a small glowing orb appears to hover briefly near the ground after a lightning strike, flickering faintly before vanishing. It's one of the few moments caught on camera that coincides with scientific instrumentation, matching optical data with electromagnetic readings. But even then, the image is grainy, the shape is small, the duration short. Other videos circulate online, clips of glowing spheres floating across landscapes or flickering in stormy skies. Some look promising, others seem uncertain. Many are later suggested to be reflections, camera glitches, lens flares, or electrical artifacts, explainable, though no less interesting in their momentary illusion. That's the gentle paradox of ball lightning. The more we try to catch it, the more it seems to dissolve. It's like trying to trap a breeze in a bottle, or photograph the shimmer of heat on a summer road. By the time you focus, it's already gone. Why is it so hard to film? Part of the challenge lies in its unpredictability. Ball lightning does not announce itself. It doesn't form in the center of the frame. It doesn't linger for a reshoot. Most sightings are sudden and brief, often in places where people aren't expecting to record anything at all, on porches, in remote fields, through the windows of moving vehicles or airplanes. And when someone does happen to be filming during a storm, the orb is often mistaken for something else. It may pass through the frame quietly, unnoticed until later. Or its glow may be overpowered by the flashes of traditional lightning, barely registering on camera sensors tuned for more dramatic contrast. Even advanced weather monitoring stations with high-speed cameras and lightning detectors have yet to consistently document it. A few faint glimmers, some curious readings, but nothing definitive, nothing clear. Still, scientists don't dismiss these efforts. Each recording, even if imperfect, adds a layer to the mystery. Each one opens a window, even briefly, into the space where weather meets wonder. And so, while true footage remains rare, the pursuit continues. Quietly, patiently, lovingly. Perhaps one day, someone will capture it clearly, an orb glowing gently across a stormy hillside, or drifting through a quiet room. But even if they don't, even if ball lightning remains just outside the grasp of film and frame, it still lives brightly in the stories we share, and the skies we watch with quiet hope. Some lights aren't meant to be caught, only seen, only remembered. There are some things in nature that feel out of place, not because they don't belong, but because they seem to come from somewhere else, somewhere quieter, somewhere just past the edge of understanding. Ball lightning is one of those things. Tonight, we explore how many have described it, not just as a weather phenomenon, but as something that feels otherworldly, a glow that floats between the familiar and the unknown. In story after story, people speak of ball lightning as if it exists just slightly outside our ordinary world. It doesn't behave like the rest of the storm. It doesn't roar or race or crash. It drifts, glows, waits, as if it's listening, as if it's watching. Some describe it as ethereal, light that seems to come from nowhere, casting no shadows, moving with intention but without urgency. Others say it feels intelligent, or at least curious, not threatening, not random, just aware. And while science approaches such descriptions with careful caution, it doesn't ignore them, because feelings matter too. The way we experience something shapes how we remember it, how we speak of it, and how we come to understand its place in the world. Ball lightning, in that way, is less like weather and more like a moment. 1 foot in science, 1 foot in story. There have been poems written about it, songs, sketches in old journals, and glowing orbs in folklore. In some cultures, it's seen as a spirit of the storm. In others, a sign of shifting energy or celestial alignment. Even seasoned scientists, after encountering it, have described the event in almost mystical terms, not because they believe in magic, but because the experience felt so quiet and so unreal. Of course, meteorology remains grounded. Theories continue. Plasma, microwave cavities, ionized air, all offering natural explanations for what we see. But even when wrapped in science, ball lightning feels like more than just a reaction. It feels like a visitor, something in between. Not a ghost, not an illusion, but not quite of this world either. Perhaps that's why it remains so fascinating, because it reminds us that nature isn't just a set of patterns. It's also a canvas for awe, for those quiet, sacred-seeming moments when the world softens its edges and lets the extraordinary slip through. So tonight, as we float gently in this space between storm and stillness, we imagine that glow, a light moving through the mist, not rushing, not demanding, just being, as if it comes from the sky but carries the silence of the stars, a glow between worlds, a whisper across dimensions, a story told without words. And as always, we return to the science, to the careful hands that measure, the curious minds that model, the patient hearts that wait. But we hold space too for the wonder, because in the quiet, drifting light of ball lightning, both may be true. Earth is always breathing, not with lungs or air, but with invisible forces that surround and protect us. The planet is wrapped in a magnetic field, an unseen ocean of gentle motion, flowing from pole to pole, shaped by the spinning core deep below our feet and the solar winds far above. And some believe that within this magnetic breath, ball lightning drifts. Tonight, we float through that idea, slowly, curiously, as if suspended in the field itself. The Earth's magnetic field is often thought of in technical terms, lines of force, measured in nanoteslas, plotted with precision. But here, in the quiet rhythm of sleep-bound storytelling, we can imagine it as something more poetic, a vast, slow-moving sea of energy, constant, steady, always present. And in this quiet ocean, ball lightning may be a current, a glowing eddy in a magnetic stream. Some scientists have proposed that the Earth's magnetic field could help sustain or even shape ball lightning. That, in certain conditions, especially during thunderstorms, temporary interactions between the field and atmospheric energy might create stable pockets of plasma, spheres of light held together not by gravity but by magnetism. Imagine it, a storm brewing above the ground. Thunder rolls, lightning forks across the sky, and in that instant, the magnetic field pulses ever so slightly, disturbed but not broken. Within this subtle ripple, a sphere of light takes form. Gently, quietly, it hovers, it moves, not pulled by gravity or pushed by wind, but guided by unseen tides in the Earth's own energy. It's a theory still in its early stages, studied carefully but cautiously. Measuring the influence of magnetism on such a fleeting phenomenon is challenging. There are no guarantees, no repeated trials, only gentle clues. But the idea resonates, especially when we consider how ball lightning moves, slowly, deliberately, often along surfaces, as if tracing a path we can't quite see. What if it is tracing lines of magnetic force? What if the storm's electricity, combined with the Earth's magnetic breath, creates a momentary doorway, and the orb is what steps through? It's a thought worth lingering in, because Earth's magnetic field is not something we often feel, but it is always there, shielding us from radiation, guiding birds across oceans, quietly shifting in rhythm with solar winds, and maybe gently shaping spheres of light in the middle of summer storms. So tonight, as we settle deeper into this story, we imagine ourselves drifting alongside those invisible lines, floating through the calm tide of Earth's magnetic presence. And beside us, softly glowing, an orb moves without urgency, suspended, held, carried by the breath of the planet itself. Ball lightning, tied to something larger than any storm, a glow within the field, a light in the ocean of energy beneath our feet. When a lightning bolt strikes, it doesn't just light the sky, it leaves echoes behind, not in sound, but in energy, vibrations, pulses, invisible aftershocks that ripple through the atmosphere. And some researchers believe that ball lightning may be one of those echoes, a soft response to the storm's roar. Tonight, we drift into those quiet theories, ideas about electrical feedback, resonance, and energy loops that gently hold a shape for just a moment. One theory suggests that after a particularly strong lightning strike, a microwave cavity might briefly form in the air. Like a hollow chamber, this space could trap energy, bouncing electromagnetic waves within it, circling over and over again. And inside that chamber, a sphere of glowing plasma may take shape, a self-contained orb of energy held together by resonance. Imagine a singing bowl. When struck, the bowl vibrates. The sound lingers. It fills the space around it with soft, humming tone. In this theory, the air acts like a bowl, vibrating after the strike, and ball lightning is the shimmer inside that sound. Another theory points to electrical feedback loops. As the ground and sky trade charges during a storm, complex patterns may form, loops that momentarily reinforce themselves. Within those loops, a pocket of sustained energy might stabilize long enough to appear as light, a sphere, a brief and glowing resonance inside the storm. These ideas are elegant in their simplicity. They don't require magic, only the right conditions, moisture, temperature, a strong pulse of electricity, and a bit of atmospheric structure to hold the shape. But the problem, of course, is that these conditions are difficult to recreate. Storms are chaotic. Feedback patterns shift rapidly. Microwave cavities collapse in fractions of a second. And ball lightning, if it truly forms this way, comes and goes before we can measure the dance. Still, the metaphor lingers. Ball lightning as an echo, a resonance, a note struck softly in the chaos of a storm. It helps explain the way it moves, not randomly, but smoothly, as if following lines of invisible music. It helps explain the silence, the shape, the duration, a standing wave made of light. And maybe that's why the phenomenon feels so strange, yet so natural. It's not fighting the storm, it's part of it, a harmonic reply, a light that lingers not in defiance, but in cooperation. So tonight, we imagine a lightning strike, bright and sudden. It crashes to the ground, the thunder rolls, and for a moment, the sky sings back, a tone barely heard, a form softly seen, ball lightning born from an echo, held in a whisper, fading like the memory of a song. Not all flames come from matches. Some are born quietly, in the hush after a storm, in the misty breath of rain-soaked earth, in the strange chemistry of sky and soil. Tonight, we drift into one such idea. Some scientists believe that ball lightning might not be purely electric or magnetic. Instead, it may be something chemical, a soft cloud of glowing vapor, slowly burning through the air. One particularly gentle theory suggests that silicon, an element found abundantly in soil and sand, may play a role. When lightning strikes the ground, the intense heat can vaporize bits of silica from the surface. That vapor may then rise into the air, reacting with the surrounding moisture in a slow, glowing burn. Imagine this with your inner eye. A flash of lightning kisses the ground. Not just light, but heat, enough to melt, even vaporize, tiny grains of quartz beneath the surface. A delicate cloud rises, full of invisible particles. The air is humid, damp with rain. The storm is beginning to pass. And within that cloud, something glows. Not suddenly, not explosively, but gently, slowly. The particles, now chemically reactive, begin to oxidize in the moist air. They burn, not with fire, but with faint, steady light, like embers drifting inside fog. The result, a soft, round orb of luminous mist floating just above the earth. Not plasma, not energy held by magnets, but chemistry, quiet, glowing chemistry. These glowing clouds, according to the theory, may behave like miniature fires, self-sustaining for just a few seconds until the fuel is gone or the reactions slow. Their color would depend on the elements present, their motion, guided by temperature gradients, air, currents, or even slight electromagnetic influences. Some experiments have tried to replicate this. In laboratories, researchers have vaporized silicon and watched as glowing spheres formed in controlled, humid air. The spheres danced, floated, faded, not unlike the reports of ball lightning seen after storms. But even so, it's hard to say for sure. Out in the world, the conditions aren't so tidy. Lightning doesn't strike the same way every time. The soil composition varies, the air shifts, and real ball lightning appears so rarely that it's difficult to confirm anything at all. Still, there's something comforting in this idea, a light born from earth and water and air. A product of natural elements, ignited not in violence, but in transformation. It paints ball lightning as a kind of weather alchemy, a secret reaction happening just at the edge of sight, a chemical lantern glowing softly in the storm's wake. So tonight, we imagine those tiny particles, lifted by the heat, wrapped in mist, catching fire in the gentlest way. They swirl, they gather, they glow, a cloud of light, a breath of fire, a floating chemistry of wonder. And then, they're gone, not with a bang, but with a sigh. Some mysteries live in the vastness of space. Others hide in the tiniest corners of reality. Tonight, we gently touch on one of the most delicate ideas of all. Those theories that suggest ball lightning might whisper, not just through storms, but through the strange, invisible world of quantum physics. This realm is not like the one we see around us. It's made of particles and waves, probabilities and uncertainty, places where matter can be in two states at once, or where energy flickers in and out of existence, like fireflies in a jar. Some researchers have wondered if ball lightning might, in part, belong to this miniature world. One idea involves quantum coherence, a phenomenon where particles act in perfect unison, like a silent choir humming a single note. In the right conditions, some scientists propose that energy within a thunderstorm could briefly align in this coherent state, creating a momentary sphere of light, a ball of organized motion inside a sea of chaos. Another theory drifts toward vacuum fluctuations, tiny trembles in the fabric of space itself. These aren't full explanations, but possibilities, soft suggestions that the laws which govern the tiniest parts of the universe may occasionally ripple into our larger world. These ideas are highly theoretical. They exist at the far edge of science, where math and imagination blur. There is little evidence and even fewer observations, but what they offer is perspective. That maybe ball lightning is not just a physical phenomenon, but a reminder that the world is more layered than we often see, that some things shimmer at the boundary between the explainable and the unknowable. Quantum theories can be complex, filled with wave functions and entangled states, but here we hold them gently. We don't need to solve them tonight. We simply let them drift through the story, like soft shadows on the walls of understanding. Perhaps ball lightning is not purely plasma or chemistry or resonance. Perhaps it's all of those things and more, a natural expression of the universe's hidden dance, a light that flickers when forces align, across scales we barely comprehend. And if so, its mystery becomes even more beautiful, because quantum physics isn't about certainty, it's about potential, about presence without permanence, about particles appearing, glowing, vanishing, just like the orbs we've been dreaming of all night. So tonight, we pause at that threshold, not to cross it, only to listen to the whispers, to the idea that even in the smallest spaces, a storm can leave behind a glow. And in that glow, the universe might briefly show us something softly extraordinary. For a long time, ball lightning was considered impossible, not because it was too complex or too distant, but because it didn't fit into the rules we already knew. It was too strange, too inconsistent, too softly unrepeatable. And so, many scientists, kind, thoughtful, curious people, chose not to believe in it. Tonight, we gently trace that arc, from dismissal to slow curiosity to a cautious embrace of the unknown. In earlier centuries, reports of glowing orbs during storms were often folded into folklore or superstition. Some believed they were spirits. Others saw them as warnings. Few tried to measure them. Fewer still thought they were real. Even as science blossomed in the 18th and 19th centuries, ball lightning remained a quiet outlier. It didn't behave like ordinary lightning. It didn't strike. It didn't roar, and it left little evidence behind. For many meteorologists and physicists, this made it suspect. A mirage, a misinterpretation of ordinary lightning seen through fog or rain, a trick of the eyes. Some believed the sightings were hallucinations caused by stress or sensory overload during storms. Others thought they were simply mistaken memories of heat lightning or reflected headlights. The stories were consistent, but hard to prove. In this chapter, we don't argue. We honor that skepticism. Because in science, doubt is a kindness. It keeps the door open for truth. It asks careful questions. It waits for evidence, even when the stories are compelling. And for ball lightning, so fleeting, so rare, that evidence was slow to arrive. But then, something shifted. As the 20th century progressed, more and more trained observers, pilots, engineers, scientists began reporting similar events. Their words matched those of farmers and sailors from centuries past. The size, the color, the way the orbs hovered, then vanished. These weren't exaggerations. They weren't seeking attention. They were simply describing what they saw. Bit by bit, the tide of opinion changed. Research papers began to appear, cautious at first, exploring possible explanations. Laboratory experiments tried to recreate the conditions. New tools emerged: high-speed cameras, lightning detectors, instruments sensitive enough to track even subtle atmospheric changes. Still, ball lightning remained elusive, but it was no longer ignored. Today, most atmospheric scientists accept that ball lightning is real, even if we still don't fully understand it. It lives in a soft space between myth and measurement. Rare, mysterious, but not imaginary. And so tonight, we sit gently with that history, with the early disbelief and the growing trust, with the calm voices that asked for proof, and the quiet witnesses who simply said, "I saw something." Skepticism and wonder do not have to be opposites. They can walk together, one holding the map, the other watching the sky. And in the glow of ball lightning, both can find something to admire. A mystery that asks not for belief, but for openness. A light that once seemed impossible, and now flickers gently into possibility. Long before satellites watched the skies, and long before radar traced the pulse of storms, there were sailors, men and women who looked to the horizon and learned the moods of clouds, who read wind and water like scripture, who spent nights wrapped in fog and salt spray, drifting under stars and thunder. And among their stories are lights, strange lights. Ball lightning, glowing softly above decks and railings, has long been part of maritime memory. Tonight, we set sail into those recollections, slowly, quietly, drifting through the mist of ancient waters. Imagine an old wooden ship in the middle of the ocean. The sails are furled. Rain is falling in a steady rhythm. The waves rise and fall with gentle power. Thunder murmurs in the distance, rolling like slow drums. And then a light appears, not in the sky, but just above the mast, a small glowing sphere, pale orange or blue. It hovers, silent, drifting with no wind, unaffected by the rocking of the ship. The crew watches. Some cross themselves, others whisper. The captain says nothing, only watches the glow. After several long seconds, the orb fades. The storm continues. These sightings, passed down through logs and journals, were once called St. Elmo's Fire, a luminous weather phenomenon caused by static discharge. But ball lightning was different, more solid, more round, more deliberate. Some mariners spoke of orbs that floated across the deck, that rolled along ropes or hovered near rigging. One account describes a glowing light that entered a ship's cabin and drifted above the charts. It made no sound, it left no mark, and then, like a breath in the fog, it vanished. Sailors are keen observers. They know the difference between lightning and illusion, between phosphorescence and fire. Their world depends on those distinctions. And yet, ball lightning defied them. It didn't follow rules. It didn't match the rhythm of known weather. It simply arrived. Some believed these orbs were omens, warnings of storms or shifting tides. Others saw them as protectors, guiding the vessel through danger. But most simply accepted them as part of the sea's mystery, a light that came and went, not to be feared, only noticed. Modern scientists have since studied how ball lightning could appear at sea. The salt in the air, the conductivity of ocean spray, the high electrical potential during maritime storms, all could contribute to the formation of glowing orbs above ships. But even with these theories, the stories remain the same. A storm at sea, a quiet moment, a sphere of light drifting across the mist. So tonight, we sail with them. We imagine the creak of timbers, the soft sway of water beneath, and the hush of glowing light above the rigging, moving like thought across the storm. Ball lightning at sea, a mariner's companion, a light upon the waves. For centuries, ball lightning remained a visitor of the wild, appearing in thunderstorms, flickering through open fields, drifting across storm-dark seas. It stayed far from microscopes and meters, too elusive to be measured, too soft to be captured. But slowly, patiently, scientists began to wonder, could it be invited indoors? Could ball lightning be made in the lab? Tonight, we drift quietly through those whispered attempts. Not loud discoveries or grand revelations, just soft, glowing efforts to recreate the mysterious orb and the gentle uncertainty that still surrounds it. One of the first significant breakthroughs came in the late 20th century, when researchers used high-voltage electrical equipment to simulate the conditions of a lightning strike. By releasing sudden pulses of current into various materials, such as silicon powder, carbon-rich compounds, or even saline solutions, they observed the formation of small glowing spheres. These lights hovered, danced, sometimes spun, then faded. In some experiments, scientists vaporized silicon using a powerful arc and watched as the vapor formed glowing globes, stable for a few seconds, round and luminous, not unlike the descriptions of ball lightning in the natural world. These artificial orbs were quiet. They floated gently. Some even followed surfaces, gliding along metal rails or hovering just above tables. There was no thunder, no crackling chaos, just silence and glow. One research team in Brazil used microwaves inside a modified oven chamber. By carefully tuning the conditions, humidity, gas type, and field strength, they produced what they called fireballs. Glowing spheres that moved slowly, flickered with colour, and lasted long enough to observe. The lights didn't always behave the same way. Some flickered out in a blink. Others hovered mysteriously for several seconds. And still, questions remained. Were these truly ball lightning? Or were they something else? The challenge lies not in making a glowing orb. That part, it seems, is possible. The real difficulty is matching all the characteristics: size, colour, motion, silence, longevity. The way it appears in storms, the way it disappears without trace, the emotion it stirs in those who witness it. These laboratory lights were close, but close is not always complete. And that's where the mystery lingers. Even with advanced technology, high-speed cameras, and controlled experiments, ball lightning seems to defy full imitation. It may be more than one phenomenon. It may require a natural setting, charged air, real soil, the subtle rhythms of a living sky. Or perhaps it lives partly in perception, something about the way we see it, feel it, remember it. Still, the experiments matter. They tell us that the glow is possible, that the light can form, that within our reach is a gentle echo of the thing itself. And so, the research continues. Softly, patiently, in quiet rooms where sparks whisper through air, in darkened labs where glowing orbs float just above curious hands. Each attempt is like a lullaby sung to the storm, an invitation to reveal its secret, not to trap it, but to understand it, to sit beside the light, even for a moment, and then let it go. Sometimes, when the world grows still and strange, it is animals who notice first. They watch with quiet eyes. They tilt their heads, their ears twitch, their tails still. In the presence of something unusual, they don't panic, not always. Sometimes they simply observe, patient, present, attuned to the soft shifts in the air. And in stories of ball lightning, animals appear too. Tonight, we rest in those gentle moments, encounters seen not through our eyes, but through the gaze of birds and cats, dogs and horses, calm witnesses to a glowing mystery. In one quiet report, a farmer described seeing his cat pause mid-step as a glowing orb drifted through the barn. The storm had passed. The air was thick and wet, and in the dusky light, a sphere appeared, hovering a few feet above the hay. The cat didn't run. It simply watched, eyes wide, tail still, body relaxed but alert. The orb floated past, glowing softly, and the cat followed it with its gaze until it vanished through a wall of mist. Another story comes from a country house in spring. A small bird was perched on a window ledge during a thunderstorm, feathers fluffed against the rain. As a glowing orb floated across the lawn, the bird turned its head, tracking the movement with delicate precision. No squawk, no fluttering, just quiet attention, watching the slow dance of something it could not name. Even horses, sensitive creatures, have been observed standing still in the presence of ball lightning. One account from the early 1900s described a team of horses stopped mid-trot, frozen not in fear, but in awareness, as a glowing sphere drifted across the path ahead. The driver held the reins, unsure. The horses made no sound. There is something curious about this calm. Perhaps animals, unburdened by the need to explain or understand, respond only to what is, not to what should be. A light appears, it moves, it doesn't threaten, it doesn't roar, so they simply notice. Their reactions offer another kind of evidence, not scientific data, but presence, a shared witnessing, a softness. Even domesticated pets have shown this. A glowing orb enters a room. A dog lifts its head, ears forward, eyes locked on the slow motion. It doesn't bark. It doesn't growl. It only watches, its breath slowing with the movement of the light. As if the orb brought stillness with it, like a hush laid gently over fur and floor. Of course, we cannot ask them what they saw. We cannot collect their stories in words. But their silence speaks too. Their stillness matters. Because in the quiet world of ball lightning, where no one rushes, where nothing crashes, there is room for shared awe. So tonight, we sit alongside them. We imagine the watchful eyes of a barn owl, the turned ears of a fox beneath the trees, the quiet companionship of a house cat by the window, all looking, not with fear, but with attention. And in that shared gaze, a light passes through, a moment held by creatures who ask no questions. Only this: what is it that glows so gently, and why does it feel so calm? Long before radar tracked lightning, before electricity was named or storms were mapped, people looked to the sky with wonder and wrote down what they saw. Tonight, we wander softly through those old accounts, not to prove anything, only to listen, to hear the echo of past storms, and the gentle glow that floated within them. In dusty manuscripts and weathered journals, the earliest stories of ball lightning rest like whispered memories. In 12th century Europe, monks in stone monasteries recorded lights hovering in church naves during thunder. They described them not as fire, but as wandering stars or silent flames. Not divine, not demonic, just strange, calm, present. In the East, ancient Chinese texts mention orbs of light drifting across fields during summer rain, a soft sphere seen above bamboo rooftops, a lantern with no tether, glowing in the mist. One poet wrote of sky pearls that danced during storms and vanished before the final thunderclap. In Russia, sailors on the Volga River told tales of storm lanterns that floated just above the waterline, lights that glowed but did not burn, that moved without wind, that passed silently across the decks of wooden ships. And in parts of the Middle East and North Africa, early astronomers noted mysterious rolling lights in the air after flashes of lightning, described not with fear but with reverence, a sign of the sky's strange beauty. These descriptions were often poetic, symbolic. They lacked the language of science, but carried the rhythm of deep observation. The writers didn't use terms like plasma or electromagnetic resonance. They spoke of orbs, of lights that moved with will, of moments that interrupted the expected pattern of a storm. And the details are familiar: a sphere, a glow, silence, motion without touch, disappearance without damage. Centuries before electricity was understood, people were noticing something that sounds very much like ball lightning, and they weren't always alarmed by it. More often, they were still, curious, hushed, as though they'd been visited by something not from myth, but from nature itself, just a softer part of it. Modern historians have sifted through these documents with care. Not every glowing light was ball lightning, of course. Some may have been static phenomena, or misremembered flashes, or literary metaphors, but many align, and so the idea grows clearer. Ball lightning is not new. It is ancient. It has floated through the dreams of storms for as long as humans have watched the sky. It has drifted through candlelit temples and across wooden decks, through rice fields and abbey courtyards. Always rare, always fleeting, but never entirely gone. Tonight, we sit beside those early observers. We imagine their quiet awe, the way they stopped mid-sentence or mid-step to watch a glow float through the storm. We hear their voices in the crackle of old pages, and we carry their wonder forward into our own stories. Because some lights pass through centuries, just as softly as they pass through air. Walls are meant to keep things in or out. They define our space. They give shape to rooms, homes, halls. We close doors. We draw curtains. We create boundaries to mark where we end and something else begins. But ball lightning doesn't notice those edges. It floats through them. Tonight, we linger in that strangeness, the quiet way this glowing orb moves not just through air, but across the lines we thought were solid. Many accounts describe ball lightning moving through open windows. That part makes sense. But then there are stories of it passing through closed ones. Glass untouched, frame unbroken, just a soft glow appearing on one side, then moving gently into the room. Some say it slipped through a keyhole. Others watched it drift through a solid wall. No sound, no break, no trace. In one story, a glowing orb hovered outside a home during a thunderstorm. The window was shut, and yet, moments later, the orb was inside, floating just above the floor, glowing like the memory of a dream. To science, this is deeply puzzling. How can something with energy, heat, and light pass through barriers without disrupting them? Theories suggest that perhaps what we see is not the true center of the phenomenon, but a projection, an optical or electromagnetic effect, like a mirage of energy displaced from its origin. Others wonder if the orb briefly alters air pressure or charge enough to affect how we perceive its path. But whatever the reason, the behavior remains consistent. Ball lightning drifts without care for edges. It moves through the world as if the boundaries we've built are only suggestions. And that is quietly beautiful, because it reminds us that not everything respects the lines we draw, that some parts of nature glide gently past our expectations. Ball lightning does not ask permission. It does not knock. It enters, floats, glows, and vanishes, like a dream that begins in one place and ends in another, never explaining how it passed through the doors in between. Some lights belong to a world without edges, a place where walls are transparent, where silence opens every door, where the rules of space bend softly. So tonight, we imagine our homes not as closed boxes, but as soft shapes in a wider world. We imagine light drifting gently through, unbothered by brick or glass, a visitor who needs no hallway. Ball lightning, at the end of all these stories, reminds us that wonder is not always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it passes through walls. And sometimes it reminds us that not even our most carefully drawn lines can contain every kind of light. Sometimes the sky comes inside, not with rain, not with wind, but with light, a soft glow, uninvited yet strangely welcome, a shimmer that moves without purpose and disappears without trace. Tonight, we return to those rare stories of rooms that glowed, as if a piece of the storm had wandered in, curious and quiet, leaving behind only wonder. Imagine this: a thunderstorm passes over a countryside home. The windows rattle faintly. Distant rumbles thread the silence. Then, without a sound, a light appears near the ceiling of the living room, round, dim, gently pulsing. It doesn't flash, it doesn't burn, it simply is. The room takes on its colour, perhaps a pale yellow or a soft bluish hue. Shadows shift. Walls shimmer faintly. it's not like flickering lightning. It's steadier, warmer, like the glow from a lantern that doesn't cast heat. People have described these moments in detail. A woman reading by a window noticed the light float past her bookshelf. It hovered near the ceiling, casting a golden wash across the room. The dog at her feet sat up but didn't bark. The orb moved slowly, passing over the sofa, near the curtains, then into the hallway. And then it was gone. Another account tells of a small kitchen lit by stormlight. The power had flickered. Then a ball of light, soft as a candle's breath, glided along the ceiling, followed the contours of the cabinets, and passed out through a closed window. No marks were left. No sound remained. Only the memory of a room that glowed for a moment, without explanation. Even scientists have witnessed it. In one story, a physicist sat working at his desk during a thunderstorm. A glowing orb appeared near his bookshelf, hovered briefly, then moved toward the corner of the room and disappeared into the wall. He later described the event, not with fear, but with awe. It didn't challenge his beliefs. It deepened them. These indoor encounters are among the most mysterious. Ball lightning appears where it shouldn't, beyond the walls, past the glass, inside the space we think of as protected. But it doesn't disturb, it doesn't damage. It simply brings the outside in for a moment and then leaves just as gently. What causes this? Theories remain tentative. Some suggest ball lightning forms outside, then enters through unseen cracks or conductive paths. Others believe it may form spontaneously indoors, triggered by electrical charges, humidity, and the lingering effects of a nearby lightning strike. Or perhaps, as some researchers propose, it isn't fully there in the physical sense. Perhaps what we see is only a projection, a visible expression of electromagnetic fields shaped by complex atmospheric interactions. A light we can see, but not touch. Whatever the mechanism, the feeling remains the same. A room glows, time slows, and the boundary between sky and shelter becomes, for a moment, wonderfully thin. Tonight, as you rest in your own quiet room, imagine the hush of such a visit, a sphere of gentle light floating just above your shelf or curtain rod. It asks nothing, it explains nothing, it simply exists. And then it fades, like a thought half remembered, and the room, once again, belongs only to you. In the great gallery of meteorological wonders, some phenomena dazzle. Tornadoes roar, thunder cracks, hailstones fall like silver marbles from the sky. These are the loud voices of weather, the bold and immediate. But ball lightning is different. It belongs to a quieter category, the weather's whisperers, the subtle spectres, the soft phantoms. Tonight, we place it gently among them. Think of fog, rolling in on soft feet, wrapping the world in stillness. It changes the way light moves, the way distance feels. It's not solid, yet it shapes everything it touches. Ball lightning is like that, suspended, quiet, visible but untouchable. Think of halos, those faint rings of light around the moon or sun, created by high, icy clouds. You may not even notice them until you stop and look. They're always there, waiting to be seen. Ball lightning, too, is rare, but when it does appear, it feels like a private moment, a hidden layer of the storm revealed. Think of mirages, the shimmer on a hot road, the illusion of water in the desert. They trick the eyes, but not cruelly. They remind us that perception is delicate, that the atmosphere plays gently with what we see. Ball lightning, too, seems half dream, half real. It floats somewhere between certainty and suggestion. All of these phenomena, fog, Halos, mirages, and ball lightning share a common thread. They don't demand attention, they invite it. They don't announce themselves with force, they appear quietly, offering beauty without obligation. A gift if you happen to look. Ball lightning is perhaps the rarest of them all, not because it's more distant, but because it refuses repetition. It never performs on command. It leaves behind no storm tracks, no debris, no forecast warnings. And yet, it is remembered, described in journals and poems, feared and loved, doubted and revered. It lingers in the margins of weather, where science meets story. Some scientists call it a plasma structure. Some think of it as an electrical resonance. Others suggest vaporized materials, or electromagnetic bubbles, or even microwave loops. But whatever it is, it moves like a ghost, it behaves like a dream, and it joins the ranks of nature's softest wonders. Tonight, as we close this gentle chapter, we remember that not all weather comes with urgency. Some comes with stillness, some comes with shimmer, some with a glow that flickers briefly, then vanishes. And in that vanishing, it leaves behind not fear, but quiet. The kind of quiet that lives in the center of fog, in the eye of a halo, in the silence between thunderclaps. Ball lightning is weather's softest phantom, not seen often, but always waiting, in the calm beyond the storm. It doesn't always appear in the center of the storm. Sometimes, ball lightning is simply glimpsed from afar, seen from behind the glass of a bedroom window, or from a quiet porch just after the thunder has passed. A small orb of light, floating just above the ground, glowing in the dark like a firefly that stayed behind when the others moved on. Tonight, we rest in that moment, that dreamy, distant view. A light outside, a hush inside, separated by a pane of glass, connected by wonder. Picture it. You're standing by your window. The storm has already begun to drift away. The rain is lighter now, just a hush against the glass. In the yard, everything is glistening. Wet grass, puddles, soft outlines of trees against the dark sky. And then, something moves. A dim, round glow appears near the hedge. Pale gold, or perhaps a quiet blue. About the size of a small melon. It hovers, low, silent. You press your hand to the window pane. The glass is cool. The orb doesn't flicker like a flashlight. It doesn't cast sharp shadows. Instead, it seems to bathe the lawn in a faint radiance, as if the moon had dropped a piece of itself into the grass. It moves slowly, almost lazily, drifting a few feet this way, then the other. Not carried by wind, not pulled by gravity, just choosing its path. A quiet visitor from the weather itself. People have described such scenes in gentle detail. A man on a porch at dusk, a thunderstorm clearing behind him, the scent of rain in the air, and on the field across the road, a sphere of light. He didn't call out, didn't go closer. He simply sat and watched, until the light faded into mist. A child at the kitchen window, looking out into a drenched backyard, a glowing orb near the garden fence, silent, floating, then gone. These are not stories of panic. They're stories of pause, of breath held, of quiet awe. The window in these stories becomes more than just a barrier. It becomes a frame, a lens, a way of watching something strange, safely, calmly. No wind in the face, no lightning to dodge. Just a glowing orb on the other side of the glass. And perhaps that's why these sightings feel so soft. They happen in silence. Through the filter of home, you don't chase the light. You receive it, like a dream arriving just outside your door. What the orb is remains a mystery. Some say it's plasma, Others, a resonance in the air. But in these moments, standing behind the window, none of that matters. What matters is the stillness, the soft, suspended moment where the world is both real and gently unreal. And when the light disappears, slips into the hedge, fades into the grass, vanishes behind a tree, you don't feel disappointed. You feel thankful, because even a glimpse is enough. There is something about seeing ball lightning as a child that lingers longer than most memories. It doesn't fade, it deepens. Not just because it was rare, but because it arrived during the age when wonder was the natural language of the world. When every light in the sky held magic. When questions didn't need answers to feel meaningful. Tonight, we listen to the voices of those who remember seeing ball lightning in childhood. And we let their awe settle gently beside our own. A woman once recalled being 5 years old, sitting on the stairs during a storm. Her parents were in the kitchen. The rain was soft, the thunder low, and from the window near the landing, she saw it, a sphere of light, hovering in the backyard, pale and slow like a moon that had come closer. She remembered thinking it was alive, not in a frightening way, just aware, present. And then it was gone. She never forgot it, not because it was dramatic, but because it was quiet, a secret kept between her and the sky. Others tell similar stories. A boy in a mountain cabin, watching a glowing orb float across the front porch during a late summer storm. A girl in a city apartment, peeking through the blinds to see a sphere gliding down the sidewalk. They didn't understand what it was, but they knew it was special. These memories often surface years later, when the child has grown. They describe the light not in technical terms, but in feeling, calm, soft, dreamlike. And perhaps it's because childhood has its own kind of seeing, eyes that haven't yet narrowed with certainty, minds still open to the unexpected. Ball lightning, to a child, doesn't need explanation. It needs only attention. And so, for them, it becomes a story, a treasured moment, a memory stitched into the fabric of imagination. Not frightening, not questioned, just there. Some who saw it as children say they didn't speak of it for years. Not because they were afraid, but because it felt too precious to explain, as if describing it would make it vanish again. Others tried to tell their parents, only to be told it was lightning or a dream, and maybe it was, but the memory held. Ball lightning is rare, but childhood makes space for rare things, for fireflies that come from nowhere, for clouds shaped like animals, for lights that drift through storms and leave no trace. And when those children grow up, they carry that softness forward. They become scientists, poets, artists, or quiet lovers of weather, and they remember. So, tonight, we honor those early eyes, the ones that looked out a window and saw something glowing, the ones that didn't panic, didn't label, didn't turn away. They simply watched, and in doing so, they held something sacred, because sometimes the first time we see wonder is the time it stays with us forever. We live in an age where storms are tracked by satellite, where clouds are mapped in real time, and where every bolt of lightning can be counted, measured, and located within milliseconds. And yet, ball lightning continues to drift through the margins, uncaptured, unclaimed, still wrapped in mystery. Tonight, we reflect on this gentle refusal, to be studied, to be predicted, to be neatly explained. In our modern era, weather is no longer entirely wild. We see it from above. We simulate it with precision. With instruments and algorithms, we We chase the heartbeat of the atmosphere across oceans and continents. Storms no longer sneak up on us. Radar sees them coming. Models project their path. But ball lightning remains hidden. It doesn't announce itself to satellites. It doesn't appear in forecast models. It leaves no digital footprint. Even with high-speed imaging and advanced sensors, it continues to slip past the edges of certainty. It appears without warning. It vanishes before a camera can focus. It leaves behind no signature that we can reliably follow. And so, in a world where almost every other weather phenomenon has been catalogued and named, ball lightning remains one of the last untouched mysteries, a flicker from an earlier age, a secret the sky still keeps. Perhaps that's part of why it feels so sacred, because it resists being turned into data. It does not come when called. It does not repeat itself on command. It appears only when the world slows, when storms grow quiet, when the viewer is still, when the ordinary folds ever so slightly into the surreal. Some researchers still pursue it, quietly, carefully, in laboratories and field experiments, in lightning towers and control chambers. The attempts are earnest, respectful, and occasionally the glow returns. Briefly, softly, but never quite the same. And still, it remains unclaimed. Not because we haven't tried, but because the orb doesn't need to be understood to be real. It simply is. Ball lightning reminds us that not everything in the natural world has to be explained to be beautiful. That some phenomena are allowed to stay a little blurry, a little dreamlike, a little beyond reach, and in doing so, they remind us of how much we still don't know, how much wonder remains. So tonight, we give space for that wonder. We sit with the forgotten light, the one that glowed before we named it, the one that still glows, even if no one is there to see, not because it wants attention, but because that's simply what it does: float, glow, disappear, and remind us gently that mystery is still part of the weather. What if ball lightning is saying something, not with words, not with sound, but with light, with the way it moves, the colours it flickers through, the subtle rhythm of its presence? Tonight, we listen for meaning, not in speech, but in the soft language of glow. Ball lightning does not crack or roar like traditional lightning. It does not thunder across the sky or flash across a screen. It speaks more like candlelight, like the way sunrise touches a windowsill, gentle, lingering, felt more than heard. Its glow may shift in colour, blue to yellow, orange to white, or violet at the edges. It may pulse slowly or remain steady. Each change, perhaps, a wordless sentence, a soft phrase written in light. Some witnesses describe the orb turning, as if gently spinning. Others say it seems to pause, to listen, to drift with purpose, though not destination. These movements feel deliberate, though we may never understand their intention. They speak in a tempo we don't measure, a syntax we can only feel. If there is a language here, it is not a language of commands or declarations. It is the language of presence, of simply existing gently where no light should be. There are ancient stories of sky spirits, weather omens, celestial visitors. In them, light was always seen as a message, a dream made visible, a reminder that nature has layers we do not always see. Modern science doesn't speak in myths, but it does listen closely to the shape of a glow, to the way it moves through air, to the frequency of its flicker. It measures gently, not to conquer, but to understand. And still, ball lightning defies translation. And maybe that's okay. Maybe its language isn't meant to be decoded. Maybe it's meant to be felt. A hush, a shimmer, a soft phrase written across the dark, like a lullaby told only once. It may be saying, slow down, or there is still mystery, or simply, I am here. Not to frighten, not to impress, only to be. So, tonight, we let the light speak in its own way. We don't interrupt, we don't rush to define, we just watch and rest and feel the meaning that lives in silence and glow. Because some things don't need to be understood, they only need to be seen, even for a moment, even from a window, even in a dream. There is a place in every thunderstorm where the noise is deepest, where clouds fold in on themselves, dark and slow, churning like thought, where light pulses from within and air becomes heavy with charge. The center, the storm's heart. Tonight, we imagine that this is where ball lightning is born. Not on the edges, not at the end, but in the quiet eye within the storm's fury. Cradled by cloud, nested inside thunder, wrapped in the arms of swirling air. Picture the inside of a thunderstorm, high above the ground, where the updrafts are strong and the pressure shifts like breath. The clouds are thick here, layered in greys and violets, their textures soft as smoke. Lightning pulses deep within them, not in jagged bolts, but in silent flickers that light the clouds from the inside out. And then, at the center of all that motion, a light forms, not like the others. This one doesn't flash or race. It takes shape slowly, a sphere of glowing energy, delicate and self-contained, hovering in the still space where the forces balance. Ball lightning may be rare at ground level, but some theories suggest it may occur more frequently in places we simply cannot see, high within storm clouds, where the ingredients align just right. A careful mixture of charge, moisture, magnetic flow, and atmospheric tension. We don't have the instruments to fully watch what happens in the very core of a storm. Radar shows movement, satellites see patterns, but the heart, the deep interior, remains largely hidden. And maybe that's where the glow lives, protected by the cloud, nurtured by the pressure, born not from chaos, but from harmony, when all the elements hold each other in temporary balance. Some researchers believe ball lightning might be part of a feedback loop between oppositely charged regions of cloud, forming a bubble of plasma that slowly spins, stabilizing just long enough to become visible. Others think it may emerge when microwave radiation and ionized air meet in a soft pocket of symmetry. But whatever its cause, the orb inside the storm seems less like an accident and more like a secret, a whisper the thunder makes to itself. And when it does drift downward, through cloud, through rain, to where someone on the ground can see it, it feels like a gift from the center of something vast, a visitor from the storm's own soul. Tonight, as you rest, imagine yourself inside that soft, glowing core, above the rooftops, above the trees, cradled in cloud, surrounded by silence, and floating there beside you, a sphere of light, calm, complete, born in the deepest place a storm can hold. It doesn't want to escape. It doesn't need to be seen. It simply is, a heartbeat made visible, the orb in the storm's heart, a glowing thought suspended in weather. There is a quiet joy in not knowing, in wondering, in holding a question close, not to solve it, but to sit with it, to let it breathe, to let it glow softly in the dark, like a light you don't need to reach, only to watch. Ball lightning is one of those questions, a luminous riddle floating just outside certainty. Tonight, we pause not to explain it, but to gently ask, why does the mystery matter? In a world that often rushes to define, to categorize, to chart every unknown, ball lightning remains calmly unclaimed. It does not appear for the camera. It does not return for a second test. It vanishes when pursued and appears when least expected. And in that, it reminds us of something important. That nature still holds secrets. That the sky is not finished. That even in this modern age of knowledge and precision, there are still phenomena that belong more to wonder than to science. And that's not a flaw, that's a gift. Ball lightning may one day be fully understood. We may map its frequencies, chart its behaviors, define its shape. But tonight, we let it remain whole in its mystery, because mystery is part of what makes the world feel large again, and soft again, and alive again. It invites us to look up more often, to listen more closely, to ask not just what is it, but what does it feel like? Where does it belong? Why does it make us pause? Children ask those kinds of questions. Dreamers do too. And scientists, at their best, ask them as well. The mystery of ball lightning isn't just about light or electricity. It's about humility, about the ability to say, I don't know, but I am watching, and I am ready to learn. And in the meantime, we can simply appreciate the beauty of the unknown, the way it flickers in the dark, the way it leaves no trace, the way it glows, and then disappears. So tonight, as you breathe softly and drift towards sleep, know that not all questions need immediate answers. Some are meant to stay with us for a while, to guide us gently forward, to light the path just enough without showing everything. Ball lightning is one such light, a question with no demand, just presence, just glow. And that is why the mystery matters. Ball lightning is rare, but not gone. It hasn't been shelved into legend. It hasn't slipped fully into the past. Even now, this very evening, it might still drift somewhere, unseen and unannounced. Maybe above a quiet meadow where no one is watching, or over the trees of a dense forest after a distant thunderclap. Perhaps just above a sleepy lake where storm clouds have rolled away and the air holds its breath between raindrops and stillness. Tonight, we gently ponder, could it visit again? It's comforting to think so, that this quiet enigma still lives on in the natural world, not as a relic, but as a rare breath of wonder that occasionally exhales. We may not see it often, we may not recognize its shape when it appears, but it could still be there, glowing softly in the margins of the sky. Reports of ball lightning haven't ceased. They've simply grown quieter. Less frequent, perhaps, but not absent. Sometimes it appears in a field during an evening storm. Sometimes inside a room, surprising a lone observer. Other times, it appears to pilots or hikers, or those who happened to be looking up at just the right moment. No pattern, no prediction, only possibility. And maybe that's part of its charm, that it chooses its own moments, that it doesn't depend on us to be real. Science still studies it. Weather stations still collect reports. The search continues in quiet corners of research labs. But ball lightning moves on its own terms, outside the regular rhythms of meteorology, beyond the reach of routine. Some theories suggest that we may see more of it in the future, especially as our ability to observe the atmosphere improves. Sensitive instruments, high-speed cameras, AI-assisted detection systems. Perhaps one day, someone will catch it in full clarity. But until then, it may flicker alone, across a mountaintop, above a riverbank, through the gentle fog of a coastal town. And perhaps, even now, as you lie back and let your breath slow, there is a storm passing far away. A warm cloud, a shift in charge, and the perfect stillness in the air. And somewhere in that quiet sky, a sphere of light stirs. No announcement, no sound, just a visit. Brief, glowing, and gone again, but real. Always just real enough to wonder, and maybe that's all it needs to be. And now, our quiet journey comes to its final pause. The storm has passed, the air is still, the last flicker of light, soft, gentle, spherical, drifts slowly back into the dark from which it came. We imagine it now, the orb, glowing not to impress, not to warn, but simply to exist, hovering in the hush, its surface radiant and calm. It doesn't rush, it doesn't fade all at once, it just slowly dims, softly, like the ending of a dream. Perhaps it rises, merging into a low cloud, or sinks toward the earth, dissolving as it nears. Maybe it flickers once, faintly, and then nothing. No sound, no trace, no goodbye needed. But we say goodbye anyway, a gentle farewell to a light we may never fully explain, a phenomenon we followed through memory, myth, and science, through fields and fog, through raindrops and rooftop sightings, through glowing rooms, silent skies, and theories spun from quiet wonder. Ball lightning reminds us that the world still holds moments we cannot capture, that some parts of the sky are meant to remain mysterious, that not everything has to be solved to be sacred. And now, as the orb disappears and the story softens, we are left not with answers, but with calm, with stillness, with a glow that lingers just a little behind closed eyes. May that glow stay with you tonight, as you drift into sleep, as your thoughts quiet, as your breath deepens. Good night, gentle light. Good night, glowing orb. Good night, sky full of secrets. And as our gentle journey through the mystery of ball lightning draws to a close, I hope you found wonder in its silent glow, and peace in the quiet space where science meets mystery. May the soft shimmer of the unknown bring you calm tonight, a calm that doesn't need answers, only stillness. Ball lightning reminds us that not everything must be solved to be beautiful. Some things, like dreams or drifting orbs, are meant to be felt, not captured. If you'd like to join more bedtime journeys through clouds, storms, and sky, you're always welcome here. Feel free to subscribe if it feels light, easy, and unhurried. It's always gentle, always optional. But for now, there is nothing more to seek. Let your body sink into stillness. Let your breath soften like fading light. Let go. You've wandered far enough for one night. Sleep well, friend. Good night. Peaceful dreams. Calm skies to you.